Fuck you.
From the deepest depths of the dark web, dark of the night.
Hi everyone, I'm Eric Yearwood.
And I'm Alex Miters. Greetings and salutations. It's a balmy 83 degrees outside in Queens, New York.
Welcome to Dark of the Night. Just a little bit of explanation for those of you who may have missed the episode last week. We opened up a box and we've switched bodies. I am Eric Yearwood. This is not usually what I look like for most of my life and for the experience of growing. This is what Alex Myers looks like, although sometimes when I look in the mirror, I'm not sure which one I am.
That's right. And folks, I am Alex Myers. You may not realize that when you look at my face, but as you can see from my clothes, I'm the same Alex Myers that you know and love each week. And let me say, Eric, you look great. You've taken to becoming me well.
I mean, really all it takes for me, Alex, is just throwing these clothes on. Chris, let's drop that music a little bit. Let me say this, and I know I'm a little bit too tall. I used to not be too tall for this, but let's do a visual demonstration, Alex, of what happened. So this is where, once upon a time, someone who looked like this face, wearing this hat, was over here, and his name was Alex.
Right. And someone who was over here with this face was Eric. But we opened this enchanted box that I was convinced was going to have an untold fortune in it, and that we were going to become Ubermensch.
And I was convinced that there would just kind of be some sort of friend that I could spend some time with in there, and he'd maybe mash us together into a sort of an oversoul. Well, that didn't happen, and it ended up switching our bodies, and now here we are. We have lived each other's lives for a whole week, and man, Nightcrawlers, it's great to be here.
Yeah, Nightcrawlers, now, some of you out there may have swapped bodies at some point with someone that you know or someone that you care about. Alex, Eric, this is my first time switching bodies.
And I'm glad you called me Alex for a second, because sometimes I honestly don't know what's going on. Because when I look at you, I want to say Eric.
Yeah, when I look at you, I want to say Alex.
Because you're what I look like. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, that's what is so interesting, is because every time I've looked in the mirror, I've seen that face staring back at me, and I would say to that face, Alex, you are going to kick your own ass into the stratosphere.
And I'd see this face minus the glasses and the cowboy hat, and I'd say, Eric, buddy, you got to do better. You know, you're going to go into that Pizza Hut tonight, you're going to wait in line, and you're going to introduce yourself to everyone in line, and you're going to make a girlfriend. So, Nightcrawlers, tonight is about, now that we've kind of clarified that, tonight is about building your own paranormal team. We're glad to be here with you. This reminds me of a mushroom trip I had once, Matt in Los Angeles said. You know, it's kind of been trippy. I mean, let's clear the air here. Let's just take one more minute before we get into our topic, which is building a paranormal team. Alex, what was it like being Eric Yearwood for a week?
Wow. Well, where do I start? To be honest, it was a heck of a thrill ride. I started off by saying, what would what would Eric do if he were in this situation? And so I just went, I got your car keys, and I just went to your car, and I cleared through all the newspapers, and I just curled up in a ball in the driver's seat, and I just laid my seat back, and I went to sleep. And let me tell you, folks, it was amazing. I didn't have my ex-wife calling and bugging me about... I didn't have my ex-wife calling say, where's the alimony payments? I didn't have my sons saying, Dad, come pick me up from school. I could just shut the world off, and I could just go to sleep. So it was great. You've got it made. And I got to tell you, I feel like I'm wondering if this isn't the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life.
I feel the same way, Nightcrawlers. I feel like, let me say to you guys, well, Matt said, I literally was going to ask Eric what it's like to have an awful family for a week. Well, let me say, guys, I feel like a living, breathing. I feel like I've been wrapped with Norman Rockwell illustrations, and there's somebody printed out Norman Rockwell illustrations onto wrapping paper, and they didn't cut out breathing holes over the nostrils or the mouth, and in a good way. And also, there's Norman Rockwell underwear that I'm wearing, and there's no place to shit out of, and that's also good. And there's no place to piss, and that's good too.
And that's
and what I'm saying is I'm having a blast living the family life, Alex.
That is really fun because it suits you. It seems to suit you. And you were talking about living the Norman Rockwell life. And it's what's interesting, folks, Nightcrawlers out there, that is not my experience. That is not my experience of those people that you call family. I call them just sort of leeches on my psyche. And...
well, you say tomato, I say not in my food group. That doesn't belong in my food group. You know what I'm saying? And what I'm saying is that we've switched yin and yang. You say, I hate that. I say, I love that. And what we have is an ideal situation, and what seems like a curse is actually a blessing. So let's proceed. This may be the new normal. Orange may be the new black. I've never seen a single episode, but it's on Netflix. It's won multiple awards. Season after season of awards that show has won.
That's right. I've never seen it. I do know that I've heard that some actors, maybe Tig Notaro was on at one point. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wish it were true, because if it were, then I would take out a loan at the bank in order to get a subscription to Netflix in order to watch it.
How to build your own paranormal team. Alex, you have a PowerPoint presentation, I believe.
Right. Yeah, I do. We wanted to talk about paranormal essentials, folks, because there are things that are paramount in order for you to create the kind of paranormal team. Now, Eric and I have been lucky in that we just found each other at Best Buy in the parking lot, and we were like, I see you're wearing what looks like the kind of garb that a paranormal expert would be wearing, and hey, I am too, and we both hate this shitty job, and so why not team up? But that's not everybody's experience. And so what you have to do is you have to be strategic about these essentials. So, Eric, I'd love to have your opinion on these as we kind of start to march through them.
Well, proceed, and I'm going to be sort of drinking in your PowerPoints as always.
Great. Let's go to the first...
Through new eyes. Hazel eyes.
Now, and also, that what you're saying about your eyes, it reminds me, I cannot see through these glasses very well because I have your body, but I am so used to wearing glasses.
I also can't see.
So
the glasses part of this, although it appears to be a part of wardrobe, it's actually a functional medical device.
right.
And it doesn't really make sense because although I'm Eric, I need those glasses.
Right. But see, that's, being a paranormal expert, our garb is such a part of our identity that we can't just, this might as well be my appendix.
Right. And for me to be wearing those, I'd rather be stapled to a toilet, to the water in a toilet.
So I can't see anything is kind of what I'm trying to communicate.
And I can't see either. But even we're not going to, just because it would make sense for me to be wearing my glasses doesn't mean that I'm going to wear them.
No. And that's the kind of commitment we have to the show and to you, the night crawlers. So, okay, let's go to the first essential. Should we see? Here's what we're going to do tonight, though. Should we march through the whole, or no? Are we just going to go line by line?
Let's go through the outline. Let's go through the outline. So we have essentials, then we have recruitment, and then we have team well-being, and then conflict resolution. These are the 4 essential. These are the sort of this is the outline of this is the lesson plan. Let's call it that.
This is what Jacques Derrida would call the ultimate conflagration. So,
what does that mean?
Well, in the theory of the unconscious other, there is sort of a metaphorical sort of bloom inside the id. And the superego and Tom Hanks, well, they are both sort of fighting together inside your memories.
Sounds like you're having it's funny because it sounds like you're having a seizure right now. It just sounds sort of, because when you said Tom Hanks, it honestly sounded like you just yelled Tom Hanks in the middle of a paragraph. But look,
this is not a perfect crossover. There are things in which our minds are triggering inside our bodies that may not be fully functional.
Small side effect of sort of a Freaky Friday situation hasn't been shown in the reboot or the original is constant seizures.
Yeah. So let's go to the essentials, folks, because I think that's a good place to start to talk about the some of what building a paranormal team is all about. So
so let's go to this.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
So one of the questions you've got to ask yourself is your team composition, okay? And there's one clear choice you have to make is your team going to be all human? Now, the picture that we have up is clearly some guys that are like human, or are you going to choose to have a mixed species team? And here we have some of the most iconic paranormal investigators of all, C-3PO, Chewbacca, Luke Skywalker. They're clearly all different races, species, and some of them, I mean, R2-D2 might be a ghost. We don't know.
Right.
So all of those creatures being part of the same team, would you rather have that situation? What's going to cause all sorts of interspecies miscommunications and problems, or would you kind of rather keep it human?
Right. Guardians of the Galaxy, even though a work of fiction, is a depiction of something real, which is a ragtag group of aliens and misfits setting out to fight an evil force. It's a classic. Are those people real? No. Is that a real kind of team you can set out with to fight an evil force? Yeah.
That's right. When Alex and I first, Eric too, when they were, and I'm speaking from the third person because I'm sort of telling a story, Alex and Eric, when they first started, and by that I mean us, we had the opportunity to have a third member of the group who was a ghost, and his name is Cliven. And we thought about it, and we had to tell Clive, and we said, look, I don't think it's going to work out because there's a lot of logistical problems.
And I said, Clive, and I wish you would have just been Clive. Because that is a name. And Cliven is, it just is an N on the end of Clive.
Yeah. So, unfortunately, it was one of those situations where it's kind of like the Pete Best from the Beatles, where the Ringo and John.
Yeah, we already have two Pete Bests.
Two Pete Bests. That's right. Let's go to the number. Can we? Team vehicle. We could do that. Do we have the number slot? Is there one for the number? No. Okay. Well, that's okay. We don't need to worry about that.
Did you lose a slide, Alex?
I mean, there is no telling what could have happened and what could not have happened.
But we did lose a slide.
That is a possibility.
What's up with this slide?
Okay, so you're going to want to choose a vehicle, okay? So for number one choice, classic automobile, okay? Now, Eric, you drive a 1998 Pontiac Bonneville. Great car.
And now that's where you live now.
That's where I live. So it's sort of the de facto dark of the night mobile.
Right.
Would you say that?
Right. When we first met, you said to me, and I know this is a little bit confusing because we are in different bodies, but you said to me, Eric, I have a house. And I said, great, I have a car.
And that was a huge decision. And because we could share those resources, we are way farther ahead than the other paranormal investigators that formed out of our class at Best Buy.
No one has both.
Nobody has both except for us. So your classic automobile was sort of the de facto team vehicle. You could go with the second choice, a battle wagon. We know through some of our paranormal conventions, some of the other groups out there have custom battle wagons where they have grenade launchers, they have spray guns,
all of the special, kind of like the special power-ups in Contra.
Right.
Spread,
narcs, and all of the above. But here's the downside. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money to outfit your, and that's going to take away from some of the revenue that you can spend on just perpetuating your investigation. The third choice is a flying van, and this is for mostly the only place I've seen it is Turkey. I haven't seen that in real life. I've seen it on TV. So flying van, but where do you get one of those?
What, a flying Walmart?
Yeah. Right.
I mean, if there was a flying Walmart, it wouldn't sell cars because it's flying. I mean, I think I might have broken my own brain.
My kids love flying. They love helicopters. And if I had a flying van, they would be like, Daddy, we want to see you take us on the flying van. And I'd have to say, you are not going to ruin my life.
And I'd say, come on over. They're good kids.
Dad of the year over here.
Chris, because we're both blind, if you at any point in the evening see something, a question that someone has asked.
Right. Yeah, he's not. He may not be.
We're all blind.
So
wait, what do we got here? Can the team vehicle be an animal of some sort? That's an interesting question. That's from Tyler.
Yes. Flying falcon, flying tiger, crouching tiger. Those are the types of animals. But I don't know that I've seen any of those large enough to be able to hold the weight of a man or two men.
They're also hard to find, right?
Right.
I mean, we're talking about really, if you go on, if you hop on eBay, right? If you want to compare prices,
Yes.
flying tigers will only be expensive.
Yes. And I'd have to go onto the dark web for something like that. Chris, do we have one more slide? Is this the last slide we have? So team goals. So the you have to decide on a team goal, and sort of our team goal, after kind of long consideration, particularly by me, is you can go ahead and put it up. It's just a $, because we want money. As I said last week, I was wearing all white because I believed that there was money in the box. And so because I am God, I'm not God, but I will become Glad, which is not God, but God of a type of domain that is like God, and I will still become that. So you do have to decide on team goals.
And although that wasn't completely clear to me what the last slide was or what it meant, I did agree with it, and I felt excited about it. And let's check in with the Nightcrawlers. Hey, quick question. Did anyone else switch bodies last week? Huh. I'm curious if anyone answers that question. I have hard evidence from Brian P. I have hard evidence of the true identity of Cliven.
Is that... that's fascinating, because I was under the impression that Cliven was the ghost of an old man who died in 1994, falling down the stairs in his home. So if you have evidence to the contrary, we would love to hear it.
It's also sort of a revelation that almost has zero relevance in a way, because it's like, I mean, pick sort of a thing that you didn't even know what it was, right? Like I don't know who Triple X Temptation is. Right. It's like, did you hear about Triple X Temptation? He's actually Triple X Tenmation.
Yeah. Right. He's
It's been revealed now.
He's
exposed.
He's Glomer Plyle.
It's like I have to go to work now.
Yeah, it's like So Sue Me.
Let's see here.
By the way, the question on everybody's mind: how is it being in somebody else's body down there? And we have
and let's just blow right past that, because.
Well,
are you going to answer it?
Well, I was going to say, I don't look, I don't touch. I've taken your clothes off once, and immediately I had a towel and I was taped to the door, and I was holding the other end of it, and I just sort of swallowed myself into an immediate cloth diaper. Without looking or touching anything, so I don't know.
For the sake of decency, what I do is so illegal, and not in a bad way, but current laws don't allow it. So what we're going to do is we're going to call Dave and Buster's to try to get new recruits for our paranormal team, instead of talking about what it is that I do. Now, here's the thing. We've worked past the essentials of the kind of team you want to create. You got to get some basic members. So what you do is you get an old-fashioned telephone. You say to yourself, Eric, I'm going to make some phone calls today. And you get out and you pound the pavement. So we're going to call Dave and Buster's, and we're going to trick some people into joining our paranormal team. So stand by, strap in your watch and learn. Watch how it's done, and we'll sort of debrief afterwards.
Aloha, thank you for calling Dave and Buster's Honolulu. Jury speaking, how can I help you?
Hey there. This is Eric from Dark of the Night, and what I was interested in is having a birthday party there at Dave and Buster's, and I was wondering if you did birthday parties there.
Let me see if any of our special event coordinators are still in office, and I can get you connected to one, okay?
Okay, this is Eric from Dark of the Night.
I'm curious to see what she says. Dave and Buster's is it's not one of my favorite places. It is one of my kids' favorite places.
What we're about to do is called a rope-a-dope. You lead them in, and then you...
Oh, you're rope-a-dope as in like George Foreman and when he was fighting Muhammad Ali.
Right.
Not rope-a-dope as in Sergeant Bill Moore's Klondike Crusade. Now, folks, now what's interesting about this moment is that this song that you're hearing is the classic hold music, and it's psychologically attuned to make you want more. Because I just want to kind of feed off of this moment right now.
And while we feed off of it, let's try to imagine what the person who answered the phone is doing right now.
Hi, Eric?
Yeah, this is Eric.
Yeah.
This is Eric from Eric.
All of our special event coordinators are closed already. I can transfer you over to one of their voicemails, and then they can call you back tomorrow morning.
Well, quick question. I have a couple questions, just sort of a couple general questions I think anyone there could answer. If you could just 1 minute of your time before I transfer
Okay.
over to. So here's one question. If we wanted if we're having sort of a group event, I'll just give you a random example. Let's say we're having a paranormal team building event. Just a couple people sort of playing games, getting to know each other. Would we be able to have some staff members sort of get in on that?
Well, we do have team building packages that we offer so that would require one of our staff members to be a rep and go through the team building.
Great. That's perfect because what our sort of ethos in our team this is just a little backstory, just a little personal information. Our team is that even though by the end of the team building you won't even know who is the staff. We could all be working for Dave and Buster's. That's sort of how closely we'll be working together, and we'll all be part of the paranormal team. And that's the kind of team building that I know that I'll be able to get there.
Okay.
Couple other questions.
Uh-huh.
And that's what we call leaving the fish on the hook. Now what we have there.
I mean, let me just say,
is a live dangle. We have she's eating out of the palm of both of our hands.
She's waiting for us to call back.
She's waiting for us to call back.
I mean, you could almost, and now this is not going to be a popular analogy because of kind of the current political climate and et cetera, but you had the hook in her mouth.
And it could be, and it could be in our mouth.
It could be, she could have something in our mouth. But you handled that like a pro. You handled it like someone who was born to do this for a job, do this in a job selling selling things to people in their homes. Now,
I appreciate that. We have now. I think just to be thorough. I think now we have now. Clock that on. If we had a chalkboard here or a green screen where I could write things on it, we would. Okay. Well, Chris, no more phone calls. That's the segment.
By the way, I can kind of see if I lift up my glasses just a little bit. I can see what the Nightcrawlers are saying. The Hippie Steve says he does work for Dave and Buster's. If that's true, Hippie Steve, please
Thank you for calling the Honolulu Home Depot. For store hours and directions, press 1. If you know the 3-digit extension of the person you are trying to reach,
Weenus
press
Grabber
2.
says get
To
some free
speak to
gift
an
cards while we're at it.
associate
We
in
would
one of our
love
store
to.
departments,
Weenus Grabber.
press 3. If you're calling about an
Weenus Grabber, thank you for your input. Just kind of like give a shout out to some of the regulars. Hippie Steve, Weenus Grabber, Watney is at a concert tonight. Matt from Los Angeles. Thank you, everybody, for watching. By the way, we got our Dark in the Night T-shirts in the mail. Some of you ordered Dark in the Night T-shirts. Let us know if you want.
Aloha, Kahala Hotel and Resort. This is your E1 direction call.
Hey there, this is Eric Yearwood from Dark of the Night. I'm working currently out of the United States, and well, what I mean is the mainland United States, and I'm planning a big sort of conference, a big team building conference. And what I'm wondering is if I could work with your resort to kind of get everybody in there, and maybe get some people from the resort in there too, and create a paranormal team. So what I'm talking about is, can I get a conference room?
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's have you talk to our catering department for that. One moment now.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Everyone's going to be there.
We are going to have everybody we know in there doing whatever. I'm feeling good about this.
No one's going to pick up.
Everybody who's
Aloha, and thank you for calling Kahala Hotel and Resort Catering and Conference Services Office.
Man, I'm really going to have to make my case strong. Now, here's the thing. If you're trying to recruit people over a voicemail, you got to do the hard sell. So that's what you're about to see.
Please advise us of the type of event you are planning, your estimated guest count, along with your name, phone number. and
let them know that you have a house now.
Respond to you shortly.
Yep.
That you have my house.
Assistance by the catering and
Okay.
Well, what
conference
was my
services
house?
team,
Cold?
Please leave us a brief message and your phone
Voicemail
number,
still a viable
and we'll
option.
get back
You're
to
going to
you
see me
shortly.
leave a proper voicemail. Watch and learn.
I'll record your message at the tone. When you are finished,
Great.
hang up or stay on the line for further options.
Hey, this is Eric Yearwood from Dark of the Night. I am planning a paranormal team building conference, and here's basically, let me lay out a little bit of background. I am working out of the mainland United States. I'm planning to get over there to Honolulu and bring a sort of a, 2 or 3 people with me. But we're going to be by the time. And Cliven, and well, here's the thing. It may seem to you as if I kind of giggled and then hung up in the middle of a voicemail, but what I did is by adding an element of naturalness to a artificial, what is it? It's a formality to leave a voicemail. So to have an honest giggle in there and then suddenly hang up, friends, that is what we call being honest, being true to yourself. So what that person's going to do is they're going to call me back from the number that because most people have caller ID, and they're going to say, "Sir, what is this message about? I'd like to know so much more about what you're doing."
That's right, folks. Everything we do is strategic. And so even if it seems like an accident, even if it seems like we're screwing up, we actually sort of planned it. Even if we don't know we're doing it, it's in our subconscious. For example, back when I was you, I had a house and my neighbor Brad would come out and he would say, "Please don't let your dog shit on my lawn." And I would say,
Okay, I'm getting a call.
okay.
Okay, just. This is Alex.
Eric.
Hey, Alex.
Yeah, this is Alex.
Hey.
I used to be. Wait, who is? Oh, hey, honey.
Honey.
Hey, is this a bad time?
No, this is a perfect time. I am Alex.
Who is it?
And I'm so glad that you're calling. How are you doing, honey?
I'm good.
Do you have a girl? You have a girlfriend?
I mean, I called because I wanted to just say thanks. When you called me last week, I didn't really know what to expect, but I don't know. I guess it was just really nice to hear from you again.
Is this a lady from Honolulu?
Well, I'm glad that I'm sure. I don't know what I was thinking when I ruined our marriage before, and I appreciate you now.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Could you not?
It's-
Sorry, 1 second, honey.
Yeah.
Is that Shelly? Tell me
It was
that.
good.
Tell me this.
It was
that's not
good.
Shelly.
It was good to see you and the kids, and I have a great big home. Anytime you guys want to come over again, and it was good.
Hey, you're talking to a biatch.
I'm on the phone. Sorry, Shelly, 1 second.
Hey.
I'm on the phone with a beautiful woman that you fucked your marriage up
She
with.
fucked me. That's my ex-wife.
Shelly, I'm arguing with.
Hey, Shelly.
This is just a
Yeah,
comedy.
yeah.
This is a comedy skit, so don't ignore it.
No, look. If you want to be me and you want to run away with my ex-wife, fine. I've got your car. I have your wife. And believe me, I'm going to put it in the tailpipe.
I never had a wife. I never had the luxury of having a wife, and now I do.
Well, my wife was a bitch. Right? Aren't you a bitch, Shelly?
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck
You
up!
shut the fuck up! You shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up!
Man, that is a bad word. The B word's a bad word. Shelly, I'm gonna have to call you back. Okay. You idiot!
You moron!
Why did you curse like that?
Look,
Shelly, why did you curse at Shelly? I have to call her back. You're not fucking this thing
no,
up twice.
you're not. You're going to make me turn into myself, and I'm not going to let that happen. Because if it does, my ball sack is going to blow into another dimension. And my ball sack is another dimension. Does that make sense to anybody out there? Because it doesn't.
It makes sense, but it's a dick thing to say.
Well, look.
Let's see what the Nightcrawlers think.
Shelly is a goddess. Trust me. She is not a goddess. She's a bloodsucker. And she only wanted me. She wanted me to get my real estate license.
You should have gotten your real estate license. And you know what? I'm taking the test this week. And you know, I'm sorry, because this episode is not about this, and we're going to move on. We're going to move past this. You know, we're not going to be pulled down by your anger problems. You know, use some of my smooth operator techniques that I know are in that body to cool out, because some of us know how to appreciate how to rebuild a marriage that you fucked up.
Look, I am a supernova that's going to shoot up into a cumulonimbus full of tiny solar systems.
It's time to talk about conflict resolution, which is, we talked about personal well-being, which the point I was going to make is make sure your team members have a good family life, and I'm way ahead of myself where I was last week, because I am not going to waste this body, and I'm not going to waste what it can do. And believe me, I've tried it out on everything in the house. Conflict resolution for paranormal teams. Nightcrawlers. Nightcrawlers. What we're gonna do, and I know this is this has been confusing for everyone, you know. I don't know which one of us I am right now.
Look, I was going to say that I'm going to get a wife, and then I'm going to divorce her just to make you, just to bum you out. Because, but I don't. But part of the thing is that, I mean, I still am not exactly sure what the rules are of how I'm supposed to go about being you. So I don't want to accidentally do anything that makes you happy, because it doesn't make a ton of sense to me, Nightcrawlers, if we're going to be a little vulnerable here. One would think that since we're paranormal experts that we would know how this works, the body swap. But I'm not exactly sure why, when we swapped minds and souls, why we also swapped clothes. And so I sort of sometimes forget who I even am.
And although I'm not 100% sure what the upshot of that is completely, I have to say I agree with all of it. And I feel it. And you see what I just did there? De-escalate. Say something positive. You got to de-escalate. If you're in a situation, I don't care what it is. I don't care how extravagant it is. It could be, hey, why'd you take the last bagel? Or, hey, why am I in your body now? The basic principles of conflict resolution are the same. And those, by the way, are the two most common situations. So let's do some conflict resolution, okay? I'm going to lead the way.
Okay.
Pick here. This is called worst/best. Okay? It's a conflict resolution method for you to use if you have people in your paranormal team who are at each other's fucking throats.
Or at their own throats when your throat is their throat.
Pick one thing from the last week that you hated and say why.
About myself? Or about being
What
you?
else could possibly be? Pick one thing from the last week. What the fuck are you talking about?
Well, here's one thing I did not like. It was while I was sleeping in your body, a few of your memories from your childhood bubbled up into my conscious mind. And one of them was somebody called you googly face and dick shit. And I remember you being sad, and I remember you being I remember them saying, Eric, you're a turd. You are a human turd. We're gonna beat your face in. And so that was memory 1. Memory 2 was 6 months later. There was, and tell me if this rings a bell. There were 2 guys that were bullies at Springboro Elementary School, and they were both metalheads, and they wore Metallica T-shirts, and everybody at the school called them hoods. And they, one of them was named Justin DeVilleray, and he had long, scraggly hair and pimples, and the other one was named Brett something or other. He had red hair, and they wore sleeveless Megadeth T-shirts, and they marched you and a friend, your best friend Tyler, into the boys' restroom, and they said, you guys are going to fight each other, or we're going to kick both your asses. And then you cried, and you went to the nurse, and you said you wanted to go home, and your mom picked you up, and instead of coddling you, your mom said, well, why didn't you fight them? And you felt ashamed. So I didn't like that, because I didn't like being a pussy.
So now, in conflict resolution, you pick a thing that was good about that memory.
Oh, I picked
the same memory.
Okay.
'Cause it's worst/best.
Well,
what was one thing you liked about that memory?
I liked the that weekend I got Zelda on Super Nintendo, and I ate a whole pizza by myself. Pepperoni pizza with extra sauce. Domino's. And that was great. And that's what, instead of playing sports, that was fun. So now your turn.
Well, so the principle of this is that you try to see the positive side. So just to illustrate what Eric was saying, what's Alex?
I'm Alex.
I hate you. I hate you. And you cannot have my memories. I hate you.
Folks, sometimes... Eric? No. What happened? Are you okay? Whoa.
Whoa, what happened?
We're back. We're back in our regular bodies. Oh, man.
Wow, what a rush.
Oh my God.
You
We did it! We're back! Folks, I mean, I don't know whether I'm happy or sad. It was kind of cool being you, but now I feel like myself
again.
Oh man, I've got a headache now.
Me too, man. I honestly almost fainted. So when you scream for a long time, whether it's motivated by a transformation or whether you're just mad, you're gonna feel like you're fainting. Man, Nightcrawlers, it's great to be back. It's gonna be awesome moving forward, knowing that I am gonna ruin my relationship with my wife again. My kids are not gonna. Man, my kids don't have a chance of connecting with me. Back to normal.
And I am sad that I won't get to connect with Alex's wife again and his children. But I guess, you gotta be you. It's the moral of the story. There's nobody more you than you.
Man, Nightcrawlers, I don't usually sit kind of back in this position, but I feel like, man, I feel like I could sit back in a lazy boy and just then have a custom coffin built in the shape of me sitting in that chair and just sort of slip right into the ground.
Now,
because I am happy, and I mean, I could die in this moment.
Translation says, "What did I do to Shelley?" No comprende. No comprendai. No, that's not. We don't want to dwell on the past. We want to dwell on the future. And the future is you, Nightcrawlers.
Yeah. I do want to say this quick. And this is not about the past.
Right?
It may sound like it. And it may sound like I'm kind of spoiling this moment of kind of celebration. But if you ever come near my wife, I'm gonna do it all to you. And that being said, that's just sort of a footnote to the evening.
Well, let me say this. If you ever tell anybody that those metalheads beat me up, this crystal you're wearing has a little piece of your soul in it now. And I won't do anything with it. Anything bad. Anything crazy. But I might find some people who could. So I suppose it's sort of a détente, if you will. Mutually assured destruction, folks, which is what makes two superpowers coexistent in a world full of horrors and whores. And whores. We've learned a lot.
Yeah, I think we got to go to the dark truth.
Right, we got to go to the dark truth.
Is this it?
Hello, 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 crap. Okay. You know, Weenus Grabber says, Eric, if you love Shelly, you go after her, damn it. You don't let her get away. Or at least bang her a couple of times. Ha ha. Well, let me say this. A true rogue doesn't kiss and tell. A true pirate doesn't ship out on his sailboat.
Talking about my wife.
No, I'm not. I'm not talking about your wife. I'm talking about...
You're talking about my wife.
I'm talking about...
Talking about my wife.
I'm talking... No. Look, we've learned a lot tonight, folks. We've learned...
You can't just erase the fact that you're talking about my wife by saying we've learned a lot.
We have done it all tonight. And we've been in and out burger.
Shut the
Folks, the power of love and the power of fudge are both things we gotta enjoy while we're alive. Because we're gonna end up like Cliven someday. And we're gonna wish we could go back and do it again. Do it all one more time. I'm wearing Eric's crystal, and it's not because we changed outfits live. It's because I'm wearing his crystal now, and I'm going to use it. I'm gonna use it, and I'm so mad. I wish I could summarize the episode by saying I wasn't really mad right now, but I am so fucking mad. I am in 5 places at once, and in all those places, I'm going nuts. I am flipping. I am proving string theory, and along the way, I am making a huge racket, a huge fucking load of noise, and at every place that I am screaming right now, the neighbors are so scared to say something because it sounds so scary downstairs. And I'm gonna go into a black hole, and I'm just gonna scream so loud that it's gonna collapse. And man, oh man, am I gonna watch American Psycho tonight.
Oh man, I feel good. I feel good to be home. This episode was about creating your paranormal team, and we created a team tonight. We recreated the original Dark of the Night duo.
That's right, folks. We're back. You're back. And we hope you'll join us back, all of us, next week for another great episode of Dark of the Night. And we're going to spend the rest of the week...
We're off next week.
Oh, yeah, we're off next week.
We do not have an episode next week. Guys, we're on hiatus. We're going to be planning big things, and we are going to... It's not that we don't have an episode next week because we can't stand each other. It's because we're excited to see each other in 2 weeks.
That's right, folks. 2 weeks. But next week, we'll make sure and put something on the air.
We'll put something on the air. We'll show ourselves.
We'll show you something else, folks.
Man, oh man. Guys, I'm so excited that I'm wearing the Dark of the Night t-shirt. And it was great to be here wearing Eric's crystal forever from now on.
That's right. The Dark of the Night t-shirt, folks. If you want one of these puppies, we're going to have it for sale. So, hey, We'll see you in 2 weeks. And like we always say, mind your own business. See you next week. 2 weeks.